Evelina and to Aunt Lena, and talking about how they'd gone to see a play, and it was a hoot. That's how she put it in this letter. It was a real hoot, you know. But that was at Mom's house. She showed that to me and I read it, so I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
Either.
But because I got a little ahead of myself because I want you to get to know about Nellie. Nellie, Emmett Cox and Nakaipe's daughter. I told you that I figured out that because of one of the Indian roll, one of the censuses showed her living with Tabby Tusavet and Ako, which would have been an uncle and aunt. So her mother was dead, and her father remarried, and eventually she moved. She did live with them, and this is you know how some there's empirical information and it's documented, it's factual, it's registered someplace and like then there's oral histories and things like that. The mom had told me one time that Nellie and Namakur were so close in age, and I looked it up, and Namakur is actually like 13 years older than Nellie, but I don't know if that made them too close to get along, but there was dissension and trouble in the house with the stepmom and you know, like that. Emmett sent his daughter off to finishing school. She went to, there's a picture in here of Bloomsburg State Normal School.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one, it's almost,
You know where most of them got teaching degrees?
that's what a normal school
I have her
is.
degree, if you're looking for that.
That's a degree that a woman could get, right? Teaching or nursing.
Yeah, yeah. But a normal school, that's what they did. It was certified. They certified teachers. But there's a picture there, and again, this picture was in that valise, and I made photocopies then. This is from a photocopy of a photocopy I made back in 86. So I know it's lousy. That's why I've circled her face there. But you can, and they're in these wool. Girls' basketball uniforms, and it's the basketball team, and you can see definitely 07 there. She got her degree in 08, but that was 07 girls' basketball team in their wool uniforms. It's on the back side of the balloon school certificate.
Okay.
You're way out ahead.
Okay.
Okay, there, you're a couple pages back. Maybe. Okay, so she had her teaching degree, and I included this because at the time I tried to follow up on all the information about Nellie and where she had gone to school and different things like that, and so I wrote to the Bloomsburg school. It was Bloomsburg Normal School then. It's Bloomsburg University now, and they didn't have, you know, too much on there, but this is what they found out in the archives for me. They had a paid bill for her books from Emmett Cox, some other things that he had paid for and stuff like that when she was in there. Anyway, so that information is in there. Okay. So she had her teaching degree. So she taught at Carlisle Indian School. She taught at the Fort Sill Indian School. She taught in Puerto Rico. And it's all, I put those under the pictures and like that.
Wasn't she some kind of nurse too? Red Cross?
Okay, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Okay.
So in that, is she in that top picture there?
Yes.
Right here.
The one on the very top?
Mm-hmm.
Even though she's standing on steps, we're just talking about how like she's tiny though. I mean like she's like in here, right? She's just. I felt like you saw. I mean, I think most women were pretty petite back then, but I mean she was. But actually she wasn't.
So she traveled kind of around the world. She had a really good education and stuff like that. And then, and after she'd done those things for a few years, then she returned to Oklahoma, and in 1914, she entered the University of Oklahoma. And she made friends with Lena and May Wilson, who were in the same boarding house as her. She met their brother,
Of course.
Bennett. And I think that by all accounts,
Somebody played matchmaker?
he was absolutely Twitter-pated. Because she was a half-breed Indian, and she was 13 years older than him.
Wow.
And she was one of the first women.
She was one of the first Indian women to graduate from the University of
She was already
Oklahoma.
very worldly by that time.
Very worldly. And there's some papers in here, there's some letters, some different things and stuff like that. We're going to go through, and everybody describes her as impeccably mannered and cultured.
And she drove a car. But most women didn't.
She ended up having a wealthy father. Now, if you go, you can do this. You can go and you can look on the U.S. Census in 1900, 1910, something like that. And even when she was a young girl, in her teens, it would say Nell Cox at school. And then the other children, Namakur's children, because that's different questions in the Indian census roll. Can they speak and read English? No, 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 no. For the rest of the children. So she was well educated. She had a successful father who I think floated her through, or financed a lot of things. Sent her to a finishing school, Bloomsburg Normal School, University, and then the University of Oklahoma. Okay. So anyway, so she met Bennett Wilson.
But she was like, how old then when she was going to college? By that
This is
time.
the second time going through school.
Right,
Yeah.
but she was older.
She was
'cause she'd
13
already
years older than a
graduated.
starting
But I
freshman.
mean, she graduated the normal school.
And
so
taught
she
at
had
several
been at
different
least
schools around the country.
17 or 18 when she graduated the normal school,
Mhm.
right? And then traveled around for a long time, so she, I'd have been her late, her, well, I don't know, how old was when
She
she,
almost
yeah,
30s.
30s.
She graduated in 1917. What year was she born? She graduated June
82.
5th. 82.
82.
So they're 17 and 18. So she's 35.
So that's very unusual for a 35-year-old woman to want to marry a college kid,
Yeah.
you know?
Scandalous
It
almost.
gets interesting. It gets even more interesting. So, 19. Okay, let's.
Can I just ask, is the Fort Sill Indian School and the Carlisle Indian School, is that in the same
Oh, no.
system as the
No.
Indian School and the Phoenix Indian School?
Oh yeah. They want to educate them all, break them of their culture,
Right.
and educate them all.
Families, yeah.
So, but they would hire like a half Indian woman as a teacher though, which seems slightly counterproductive. Well, I don't know, she was very white though, in her culture.
Wow. I didn't know that May played hockey.
So anyway, in the pages intervening, as you can see, there's some pictures. There's some pictures, with teachers at Indian school, and then at the Fort Sill Indian School, and obviously, see the letter sweater on the Carlisle kid? Yeah. So anyway, those are
Like
some
that outfit
pictures.
she's got on.
Those are some pictures that I thought it looked very Carnaby Street.
Yeah.
Very Julie. Suck it to me.
Oh,
Oh, Judy Carnes.
Carnes, yeah. And then there's some pictures in here. See where it says, and she was very active in the school, in the university, and in the school activities and things like that. She was on the yearbook staff. She was in a lot of different clubs, things like that. This is the Indian Club. You see this picture where she's in her buckskin and kind of mugging for the camera?
See, this kind of goes against some of the stuff that we've always learned about, like the fact that there was an Indian club at the university at that time. See, we've always been taught that like most of the people didn't want to be associated with their Indian culture, or that you know what I mean. There's so much prejudice and
But
stuff.
they were smack dab in the middle of Indian territory.
Yeah.
I couldn't just ignore it.
Now, is this the buckskin that you have?
Yeah, well, if you look at all those people in the Indian club, they're not Indians.
No, they don't look very.
Well, how Indian do you look?
They're about as Indian as we are. So
And
we're in
then-
good shape.
And see, then she's in this little strip of picture. That's her right there in the middle. There, I think that was the Indian Club of
She
University.
has a
University of Oklahoma.
recognizable face, like
Yes.
a square jaw,
Jaw.
straight
Yeah.
flat mouth.
And then she was on the Sooner Mollycoddle was the student newspaper, and she was involved in that. And then the picture down at the bottom, it says pick and hammer. Can you find your grandfather in that
Very
picture?
bottom left.
Minnows are seen.
Oh, yeah.
He has a distinguishable face too.
Yeah,
It's
it
easy to
is.
recognize.
Yeah. And he was in the pick and hammer club because he was studying geology. You know, that's what he spent his life as a geologist.
Spelunker, studied caves too.
I don't see any years on it. so
Dad, I
can't
think
find
And then-
grandfather.
A legend of Medicine Bluff. Do you see this legend of Medicine Bluff? This is in the yearbook, the 1916, I believe, yearbook. She wrote this story. This is a Comanche legend of something that she passed down, and it was in the yearbook. Takes a while to read it. You can read it like that. It's a kind of a moral story, you know. But it,
So Nellie talks about this?
I wish you drew a picture too.
There's a signature in there, but you can't quite.
No, there's different names next to the art.
No.
And then on the back page, I had intended to read this to you, you know, as a moral story, but we'll never get through this stuff if we stop and read every little thing. Anyway, then on the back side of that, there's the graduation announcement and their pictures. I cut and pasted them, but I put black dots in it by their names in the list of graduates. They all graduated together.
Hey, look at May.
Aunt May,
She played hockey.
his older sister.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
What about Lena?
Did you see her name?
Lena did not graduate that year. She went on. She was music, piano. You know, was her forte, and that's what was her. And but she starts back up the next year in the university. You know, she did not
They all
graduate
started
with
at the
them.
same time though?
They all started at the same time. She did not graduate with them. Anyway,
When did they turn to WOC?
okay. So now I'm going to. The next is the letters back and forth, and this is straight. I just retyped it. It's straight off my notes that I took from those letters, and it's just a timeline. I'm going to go through it. Okay. October 1913. May, Bennett, and Lena begin studies at the university. May and Lena are living in Mitchell's boarding house. The Wilson home address, that means where Grandma and Grandpa Wilson, is East Wilson General Merchandise, Calumet, Oklahoma. Oklahoma passes laws forbidding retail sales on Sunday. Blue laws. Mama performs at the music club, misses the children, and would like to move to Norman. Edward, Papa, advises Bennett to look for desirable property, for if he moves to Norman, he will buy, not rent. Mama will send $75 each month to Bennett to cover his and the girls' room and board and other expenses. She urges May and Lena to cultivate happy and cheerful relationships and cautions them to be economical. She tells them not to spend more than $2 for a needed rocking chair. She admonishes them that, and it literally said this in the letter, money does not grow on trees.
Comes up out of the ground and wheat. Or
Yes.
November. The children are coming home for Thanksgiving. They will be good help for the store. From Butler Brothers, Mama has ordered a tan suit for May and is making a tan waist for Lena and has cut dress patterns out of dark red serge for both. She has cleaned Bennett's navy and brown suit. December. Bennett excels in trigonometry, not so well in English. Volumes to read. He didn't like reading. Bennett is troubled with acne. Dr. Miller will prescribe treatment at Christmas break.
Hey.
May has a theme published in a magazine. A moving picture is shown in the Calumet Auditorium for the first time.
Wow.
R.D. Martin buys out the cash store and makes competition lively. So apparently somebody opened up another mercantile.
What was the magazine, I wonder?
It you know. Mama takes Calumet school census and gets paid $3 by County Superintendent of Schools, Mina Jackson. January. Lena's grades are so good she's excused from semester exams. February 1914.
Sounds familiar.
Papa requests a Sooner mollycoddle. See, I put a question mark there, that's in my notes, and I had no clue what that was when I took those notes down.
Okay.
It wasn't until later when I saw it in the,
Here.
it's the school newspaper. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Evelina and Edward see a play in Oklahoma City. Edward and Uncle GT go to Mountain View to buy hardware stock from a bankruptcy sale. See, this is just, but Grandma Wilson wrote it in, you know, what was happening around town, and Uncle GT and your papa went to the, so I just took those notes from there, and then Daddy Pa would answer back, or he would send something. So, May 1914, Bennett is offered a summer job at the bank by Mr. Thompson in Calumet. He turns it down to continue his studies at the university. I'm thinking, he had a girl. Uncle
Studying
GT,
something.
Uncle GT opens a Ford dealership. Everyone meets the train in El Reno to see the cars unloaded.
That'd be cool.
Yep.
That's so cool.
The Wilsons buy a Ford. Mama and Lena learn to drive. August. Bennett makes arrangements to room at Hardy House with Walter Forrester in the next school year. Hardy House is across the street from the Mitchell House. Edward considers selling the store. October, where's your notebook? Oh, okay.
Really listen.
October 1914, Aunt Clara Browse, Mama's sister, writes that Ma, Ella Rose Bennett, is ill in California. Evelina may go. So Grandma Wilson's thinking about going out to California because Mama's sick. February 1915, Evelina went to visit Edwin Cobb Bennett, her brother George, in Pasadena. Edwin is recovering well from a stroke. There's no more mention of, I guess Mama got better. But now her dad got a stroke. And
It's funny, the sentence above that in January talks that Alva's wife doesn't rise until 10 years.
oh yeah, Evelina is in California with Ma. Alva Bennett, her brother, met the train in Los Angeles. Alva's wife Emma does not rise until 10 a.m. She has a 17-year-old daughter, Gladys.
Gossip, huh?
Yeah, gossip. Yeah, okay.
And this
So-
is Evelina writing this journal. Is this a journal for Evelina?
Letters.
They're letters. I took notes from the letters. I wrote this
These are
this
Debbie's
But
timeline.
letters written by her.
Yes.
To her children at
To her
college.
children. Okay, so in July of 15, Daddy Pa is in San Francisco and then on to Riverside. He has instructions to invite Aunt Clara, Ma, and Pa Bennett back to Calumet. Okay? Then, listen in, Bennett is in Phoenix, care of J.G. Shoup, 1105 North 10th Street. So apparently, that summer, Daddy Pa went to Phoenix and worked for a man.
Bernard Rock.
For a while.
Yeah.
A
Joseph
Phoenix-
Rohr. It would be Joseph, right?
The first Phoenix connection.
I'll be down there close to Good Samaritan Hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should go. That's by our house.
Okay, so then in November, May, Bennett, and Lena are coming home again for Thanksgiving. January, pneumonia and grip in Calumet. Several neighbors die. So April, Edward Grandpa Wilson serves on a jury in murder trial in El Reno. In May, Uncle GT sells Fords to everyone. The roads in Calumet are being improved.
In 1915 or 16, can you imagine?
Yeah. August, Bennett is in Ardmore, Oklahoma. So again, it's probably a summer job or something like that. He's in Ardmore now. Some of the local boys are joining the service. Because what happened?
World War I.
World War I was up. A railroad strike is threatening, and that was a big deal. If you know your history or want to search it, the railroad strike, where the military had to come in and take over. Calumet hosts representatives of the Ozark Trail. And I don't know what that means or what it is, but it was, Grandma Wilson was telling the kids that she was, they were going to. Anyway.
Big news at that time.
Big news at that time. Yes. October 1917. Evelina worries about conscription laws and signs protest petitions to send to Senator Gore. Yes, Al Gore's grandfather.
And that's
There's
the
always
draft.
been a Gore in, as a governor or whatever of Oklahoma.
Or something, yep.
Yep.
Wow.
Governors, senators, everything, yeah, it's the Gores. May 1917. Do you know what conscription, who doesn't know what a conscription law is?
Draft.
Draft.
She was a draft protester.
Yes. She wrote a letter to her.
And Gore should have done one
Senator.
too. Gore would be nowadays.
May 1917. May and Bennett graduate from the University of Oklahoma. July. Bennett is in Cambridge, Kansas doing geological studies. Bennett gets his draft notice number 453. August. That's just a draft notice. Gotta go register with the draft. August 1917. May joins the Christian Church. And, you know, they owned her from then on. She was the missionary.
What does it mean, like joins the Christian church? Like,
You give a membership.
The
No,
Christian
I'm-
church
Roll
was.
call.
They're not talking about Christians in general.
Right,
There's a
that's-
church called the
a
Christian
specific,
Church.
a specific church, just called the Christian church. Okay.
She was a Christian
Is
church.
this
member.
back in, I mean, are they still in Oklahoma after graduation? Or
Yes.
did they go back? They stayed in Oklahoma after graduation?
Well, it's soon to, they're soon all to depart, but anyway, yeah. May joins the Christian Church. Lena and Mary Webb will room together in the room Nellie Cox had in 1960 at the University of Oklahoma. So see, Lena's going back, and Mary Webb apparently is a friend or something like that, and they're going to take the room that Nellie had at the Mitchell House. May is traveling and spends time in Denver, part of her missionary training and stuff like that, okay? Uncle GT sells his farm. Big mistake. And struck gas, yeah, but anyway, he sells his farm. September 1970. Mr. Petrie, chieftain newspaper owner and teacher, is sweet on Lena. It's in the letter. Lena starts back to the University of Oklahoma. Burl G.